Today, we're looking at Quail the salmon, and, well, something that seems simple but isn't. We're diving into their absolute need for a dust or sand bath. It sounds basic, right? But get this. If the mix isn't right, if moisture gets in, you could literally be creating skin-burning lye inside the cage.
Yeah, it's that critical. It highlights just how precise the management needs to be, even for what looks like a simple comfort behavior. So in this dive, we're going through the sources on intensive farming, looking at why this isn't just, nice to have. It's a core behavioral need, it has real health payoffs, and there are surprisingly strict rules about the mix itself. It's basically an administrative requirement.
Okay, let's start with that behavioral driver then. Why is this rolling around in dirt so essential? Is it just cleaning, or does not doing it cause actual problems?
Oh, it's fundamental. It goes right back to their wild origins. Dust bathing isn't learned. It's pure instinct, a core requirement.
Yeah.
And the sources are clear. When you take that away, especially in something like a standard battery cage system, you get chronic stress.
You can actually see the stress.
Yes, absolutely. It shows up as visible distress markers, things like stereotypic behaviors, those repetitive actions that don't seem to have any purpose. That's a classic sign of poor welfare linked to this kind of deprivation.
Right. So, beyond just the stress of not doing it, what's the direct biological benefit when they do get to dust bathe? Is it mainly about pest control?
That's definitely a primary one. Think of it as their natural first line of defense against external parasites, specifically mites, what breeders often call alfash. The sand or dust mix works in a really interesting mechanical way.
How so?
It absorbs the excess oils and moisture from their feathers and skin. And then the fine particles act like a very fine abrasive. This physically messes with the parasites. It can choke them, disrupt their breathing and life cycle. It means much less need for chemical treatments down the line.
Okay, so it's like a natural insecticide. And you mentioned feather health too.
Exactly. It's not just pests. The bathing helps maintain the actual structure of the feathers, keeps them in good condition, and cleans the skin underneath. This is really important for stimulating quick, healthy regrowth after they molt or lose feathers naturally.
Got it. So it's like natural grooming and medicine rolled into one, but making sure it actually works and isn't dangerous comes down to the mix. What are the key things to get right with the materials, and where do people usually mess up?
The absolute basics are, it must be dry and it must be clean. That sounds simple, but the source is really warned against using sand that's too fine or dusty. That fine particulate matter, it's a serious hazard for their respiratory systems.
So breathing it in is the danger there.
Precisely. If you're a breeder looking for the best option, the technical advice points towards washed bird sand, something with a slightly coarser grain.
Now, the sources flag a big safety warning about wood ash. People seem to like adding it, maybe for drying or minerals. But what's the actual risk?
The risk is all about chemistry, specifically pH. Wood ash is incredibly alkaline. We're talking pH levels between 10.0 and even up to 12.0.
That sounds really high.
It is. And here's the critical rule, the non-negotiable part. If that highly alkaline wood ash gets mixed with any moisture, doesn't even have to be liquid water, high humidity can be enough of lye. It triggers a chemical reaction. It instantly forms lye, potassium hydroxide.
Lye, like the stuff that burns skin.
Exactly that. It's caustic. It can cause serious chemical burns to the bird's skin and feet.
Wow. So it's not the ash itself directly, but what happens when it gets damp. So if someone insists on using it and the sources say max 10-20% ratio, right? How do they ensure it stays completely dry? That sounds tricky.
It demands constant vigilance and really good environmental control, which, let's be honest, can be tough. This is also why permanent access isn't always feasible, especially in, say, modern battery cages with wire or slanted floors, where a permanent bath just isn't practical.
So what's the workaround in those systems? How do they provide it then?
The solution is usually temporary regulated presentation.
Meaning you put it in and take it out.
Exactly. Breeders use a separate container, usually a shallow tray or bowl. They fill it with the correct dry mix, put it in the cage for a set period, ideally daily, maybe for a few hours, and then they remove it.
Okay, that makes sense.
This lets the birds fulfill that crucial behavioral need, but it also allows the manager to closely monitor the mix, keep it clean, keep it dry, and remove it before moisture becomes an issue.
And for you listening, if you're thinking about scale, the sources give some practical dimensions. For a small group, maybe 1 to 5 quail, they suggest a container around 26 by 26 centimeters and about 6 centimeters deep. That gives them enough space to properly get into it, roll around without being cramped or knocking it over easily.
And the big picture here, the main takeaway, is that quail welfare really depends on giving them this outlet. It's fundamental. Ignoring this isn't just, cutting corners on welfare. It's flagged as a core administrative failing because it directly impacts their health, their stress levels, their immunity.
Yeah, it really underscores that connection. Denying something seemingly so simple, access to dirt, basically causes measurable stress and health problems. That's a powerful lesson for anyone managing livestock, isn't it?
Absolutely. If denying this single natural behavior pushes the animal into chronic stress, it really drives home the point for breeders. Providing for welfare isn't just a nice to have. It's actually preventative medicine. Ignoring these innate needs is just bad for the animals and ultimately bad for the business. It makes you wonder what other simple vital needs might be overlooked, not just in farming, but maybe even in our own lives, leading to hidden stress.
If you enjoyed this video, like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel to make sure you don't miss out on future content.